Selamat siang Pak Doncus, kami hari ini akan mempresentasikan tugas dari kelompok kami yaitu Mensetting .0 Rotary Table. Kami dari anggota kelompok Rafael Setiawan
dan saya Brilian Putra Wibowo.
Pembahasan 1. Pemasangan benda kerja 2. Setting Rotary Table 3. Proses pemotongan 4. Kegunaan Rotary Table.
Pemasangan benda kerja. 1. Benda kerja bentuk segi atau selain bulat. Lukis garis sumbu benda atau garis diagonal benda sehingga terjadi perpotongan garis di titik tengah. Lalu tekan benda kerja dengan senter yang terpasang pada spindle di atas Rotary Table. Atur posisi sehingga memungkinkan untuk pemasangan klem. Pasang klem untuk mengikat benda kerja pada Rotary Table di area yang jauh dari bidang yang akan dikerjakan. 2. Benda kerja bentuk bulat. Pasang cak rahang 3 pada Rotary Table. Pasang benda kerja pada cak rahang 3. Pastikan benda kerja sudah dibor center untuk setting tool di titik tengah benda kerja.
Setting Rotary Table. Dengan bantuan sebuah batang silindris yang diameternya sesuai dengan diameter dalam dari Rotary Table, kemudian dipasang pada spindle mesin. Cara settingnya dengan menggerakkan sumbu X dan Y sampai center dari Rotary Table sesuai atau dengan bantuan dua senter yang terpasang pada lubang Rotary Table dan spindle mesin.
Proses pemotongan. 1. Setting ujung senter yang terpasang pada spindle tepat di titik tengah benda kerja. 2. Kunci semua pergerakan sumbu X dan Y. 3. Lepaskan senter dan ganti dengan tool sesuai kebutuhan. 4. Pastikan ukuran diameter tool kurang dari atau sama dengan lebar alur. 5. Geser tool ke arah sumbu X atau Y sejauh 0,5 sampai dengan jari-jari lingkaran setengah alur setting Z.0. 6. Hidupkan mesin. Lakukan pemotongan boring sesuai kedalaman alur. Pastikan semua pergerakan sumbu dan Rotary Table terkunci. Lepas pengunci Rotary Table dan putar sampai terbentuk alur melingkar pada benda kerja.
Kegunaan Rotary Table. Rotary Table ini dapat digerakkan melingkar 360 derajat. Rotary Table untuk membuat satu kontur melingkar. Rotary Table untuk pembuatan lubang dengan sumbu melingkar yang tetap atau sering disebut PCD, pitch center diameter. Rotary Table untuk pembagian sudut yang teliti sampai dengan 10 detik. Rotary Table ini biasanya dipasang mendatar dengan sumbu putar vertikal dengan sumbu Z. Dapat digunakan untuk mencekam benda kerja secara langsung dengan bantuan klem untuk benda selain bulat. Dipasangkan dengan tri-jaw cak untuk benda bulat. Sekian dari kami, terima kasih.
Alright, so I'm going to shoot a quick video here on how I set up my rotary table. I use it for essentially making my buttons for the fidgets. It's a really handy piece of equipment. If you've got a mill and you don't have a rotary table, you're definitely missing out. They're not super cheap, but definitely worth the purchase. I think, I mean, mine's kind of a pretty entry-level one. You can definitely get some much nicer ones than what I have, but I think I only paid about $100 for it on Amazon. And it's definitely something well worth getting. It's just a 6-inch rotary table, but for your average knife maker, that's pretty much all you need. There's guys that buy bigger ones than that, but you don't necessarily need to. So there's a bunch of different ways to do this. What I have here is called a live center. This is just generally used on a lathe. But what I use it for is the quick and accurate enough, especially with the equipment I have, way to get it centered. So what you could use, and what is probably the more accurate way, is called a coaxial gauge. And essentially you take this and you would chuck it up in here, and it spins with the mill, and it actually will read here. If I pop the ring off, it'll read whether it's centered or not. There's a little piece you put in the bottom, little probe like that, and when it spins, it shows if you're off center or not. So basically the idea is you get it down in there and you want this gauge to not move at all, and if you get it perfectly still, you're about as centered as humanly possible. It just takes a long time. It is more accurate, but for my purposes and the tolerances I can keep on this machine, I've discovered that truly the best way is with the live center. So we're just going to pop it up in there, make sure it's snug in the spindle. Tighten that down, and then we grab our rotary table, get it up in there, and so all we're going to do is bring the center down into the hole, which is a MT number 2 taper in there, and it's just going to center itself right on there. So we'll bring down the mill here. We'll actually bring the table back a little bit. A little bit more. And you just bring it all the way down. And you don't want to try and do this with the rotary table clamped down yet. It's best to have that free floating and then have it center to the head instead of having this bolted down and trying to center the head of the mill to the rotary table. It won't be as accurate, and it'll take you a lot longer. So it's as simple as that. Once that's there, you just clamp your table down. Make sure it's good and snug on both sides. And you're done.